Hi, Nina. I almost said week one. Week four, assignment two. Where did that come from? Your first draft of your final project. All right. So the assignment was exciting for you. Went to your mom's and take images of your favorite trail. Beautiful, but a lot of people still dump their trash out there. All right. So let's take a look at your five images first in your contact. So we've got. I could possibly use this tree in your composite to show nature is affected with. Yeah, just be careful of the telephone wires. It's going to take a lot of work going in there and trying to get rid of that. And I think the other big issue is going to be selecting any part of this tree because there's just so many little teeny tiny minute details within those branches. So I think that's going to take a whole lot of work. I want to use this imagery and create a story. Okay, story about what? It's kind of interesting. The child's play, the bouncy seat. Not a bouncy seat, but the saucer thing out there in the middle of the field, and I'm assuming this is the trail you're talking about that they continue to dump the trash into. Use this image to turn into a surreal image as if it's burning. Interesting. I can possibly fill this image with trash. I can make this image look like the world is coming to an end. Okay. So, looking through those five images, I think, yeah, some that have possibilities, but I think the one that you're working on in your actual rough draft is much, much stronger. So let's go through your contact sheets real quick. So there it is. Okay, so we've got a lot of the trail. Yeah, it's an interesting trail. I definitely think it could have some possibility. Maybe not in this assignment, or maybe not even this class, but maybe some other classes or other assignments in the future. All right, so let's take a look then at your rough draft. Okay, so we've got the streets. We've got the foreboding sky. It's a great looking sky, and then you've got this. What's going on in here? And when I first opened it up, I thought water, like raging water. But then, no, maybe it's like smog or mist or fog or something along those lines. But I think you're definitely off to a great start. The one thing I found a little bit distracting was this building back here with a diagonal line kind of going through it. But other than that, I think it's definitely off to a good start. Looking forward to seeing what you're going to have in store for us for next week. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate shooting me an email. Hi, Vince. Week 4, assignment 2, your final project, your initial draft. So, even though I already feel like I have a good concept started already, it shows where images that could potentially be contributed to the overall concept. All right, let us take a look then first at those 5 images in your contact sheets. So, gorgeous cloud shot with the mountains in the background, the sunbeams coming down. Really, really nice shot. I can use this image as a nice backdrop where the sunbeams lead to different symbols of earth preservation. Okay. Use this one in the structure, be the focal point in nature. Same thing. Beautiful stream with the rocks and everything. If you haven't already, try setting yourself up on a tripod and using a really slow shutter speed, and then all this water, this moving water, is going to turn silky smooth, almost like a cotton candy feel, and it's going to just take on this wonderful, wonderful quality to it. Image can show how small man is compared to the large, beautiful natural world. Man and nature can live as one. Okay, let's take a look then at your initial draft. Okay, so a couple things stand out to me. One, I need to remind you that all images must be shot by you for this class. So unless you were on a shuttle trip or something, where did the Earth image come from? So, like I said, we can't go and borrow from other people's stuff. It's got to be stuff shot by you. The jellyfish, gorgeous. Again, is that something you shot? I'm guessing probably yes, because it looks like there's a large aquarium near where you are that you went to, but really a beautiful, beautiful lighting in here. So the big thing about this, to remind you, is that the client is looking for something that will show what the world is going to look like if we don't take care of the renewable resources, the trees, the water, the earth, as opposed to showing off, how beautiful nature can be, and they want it done in a surreal way. I think the surrealism is starting to come into play. But like especially with the 5 back here that we talked about, it seemed more like man and nature can live as one. Well, it's a beautiful shot, but it's really not what the client is really looking for. They're looking for when you open up the image and look at it and you say, oh God, no, that's not what I want. I don't want to leave that to my kids, my grandkids, or future generations. You want the surrealistic view and just almost like the repulsed look to it. So I think that those are my biggest concerns, is just the borrowing of other images and making sure that we're on the right track as to what the client is looking for is what we're going to give them. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate shooting me an email. Hi Susan, week 4, assignment 2, your rough draft of your final. All right, so it's been fun, but time consuming. After several unsuccessful attempts, conclusion: internet not upload all 3 requirements due to connectivity limits. Therefore, I have to submit the PSD as another zip file. Okay, so let's take a look at your contact sheets and your 5 examples, and I have a pretty good idea as to why you're having issues getting them uploaded. We'll talk about that in just a second. All right, so we have the clouds, the cloud images. So we have the touch of irony. This photo of clouds can be used as one of your cloud layers. The next one, after several retakes and attempts, I finally got a cloudy photograph of the lake. This photograph will be a primary photograph to house the montage. Okay. The lakeside view. Photo of the lake is a vertical alternative to the horizontal sister composition. Okay, that's a good one. I like the reflection here in the water, the cloudy sky, and kind of you can see like where there's a tree here, a tree here. We can follow the shadows up to the water's edge. But I like what's going on in the water, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so lush vegetation, touch of irony. This photo of pine needles can be used as a slight touch of green to your dying tree. Okay. Photo clouds can be used as one of the cloud layers. Okay, good. So we got a lot of images of clouds, of the lake. So some nice flat, even lighting. I think it really works. So all right. Then we got the little paddle boat here. That's kind of cool. So let's then take a look over at your. Oh, I was glad to see these plants. Every spring, I forget the name of them, but I'm always glad to see them. Forsythia, maybe? I see them when they come out, because that means spring is here. As I sit here and it's snowing out the window behind me. Okay, let's take a look at your composition here. So first, let's talk about why I think you had problems uploading. Image size. 10 inches on the widest dimension, excellent, but 350 pixels per inch. So each one of these layers is 23.4, so it's around 90 megabytes. And I'm guessing you were turning it in probably on the evening it was due. So you and Lord knows how many other thousands of students were assaulting the servers all around the same general time, and it was bogging them down. We just simply changed this under 100 in under 2 per layer when it was almost 24 per layer. So you can imagine just with that reduction how much it's going to free up the amount of bandwidth that you actually need. Okay, so other thing, the skull, and looks like a picture of the moon maybe. Just as a reminder, all images have to be shot by you. We can't borrow from other places from online. So hopefully the skull is something that you have photographed, as opposed to borrowing it from a magazine or something. And the moon, let's hope that you're able to kind of recreate that on your own, because again, we can't be borrowing other people's images to make this shot, unless of course you photographed the moon. That would be awesome if you did. Okay, so in terms of the surrealism, I think with something like this, it's starting to work. Be a little bit careful of proportion and size. Look how tiny these loaders look compared to this tree. I I think what's going on here along the edge, you've smoothed it out nicely, so it's not just a very hard edge. There's a good feather going on. So all in all, I really think you're off to a good start. Like I said, just my one concern is just the skull and the moon here. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate shooting me an email. Hi, Linda. Week 4, assignment 2, your final project rough draft. All right, so hope you did it correctly. It was a challenge. You got some help with Thinking Storm. Good. So let's take a look and see what you got here. Let's take a look at your 5 images in your contacts first. So, caterpillar used to destroy ground, land, and trees, whatever is in its way. Good. Sound barrier for noise pollution from expressway. Safety zone. Evidence of tree removal for purpose of turnpike work. Okay. Oh, they're expanding the turnpike. Debris from workers on turnpike and bridge. Good. Largest machinery you saw used for plates to be installed for bridges. Oh, okay. All right, so then we got contact sheets looking good for 9 images per page. All required metadata except for the exposure program. So, looking through these, a lot of construction work. So, this can absolutely fit into to what you're working on. It looks like the images are cropped. They don't look like we're seeing the entire image. So just be careful of that. Okay, so let's take a look back or over at your rough draft here. All right, so we have the barn, the piles of the trash, and the caterpillar. So yeah, absolutely, I think that works. Let me turn off the barn. So you've got some nice clean selection going on. So good. So the one thing that I think just needs to be working on is how are we going to make this surreal? Because that's one of the key things the client wants the image to be surreal. So be thinking of how you can turn this into more surrealism before the final draft is due. So all in all, I think you're off to a great start. So hopefully this helps. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate shooting me an email. Hi, Nancy. Week 4, your final project, your rough draft. All right, so I'm not sure if it's done right, but let's take a look. All right, so we got your contact sheets here. So good. All required metadata as well as the 9 images per page. Excellent. Got it set up really nicely. So we got some landscape images, and we got some construction. You got the dump trucks. Looks like a new tract of homes going in. We got the payloader plowing away all the dirt and everything. Then we have the industrial area in another section. So yeah, I definitely think those work. The one thing we were looking for also, remember, is that we needed the 5 images that had captions on them. All right, so there's that. So let's take a look at your rough draft. So we've got the dozer with the backhoe, the dirt, and it looks like a water buffalo. So looking at the actual, like, the piles of dirt and everything, the first thing I noticed was the actual selections themselves. The lines are very hard. So what can you do to fix it so it's a little bit more natural, so it's not quite so hard? Well, the one thing I'm going to suggest is feathering your selection. So how do you do that? Well, back off a little bit. So I'm going to come up here to Window and make sure that your Options window is turned on. And I'm going to select, like, my lasso tool here. And it looks like on this it was probably set to 0. But if you set the feather to a certain amount, it kind of makes it not so hard and feathers out that hard line, so that when you go through, and something like that, then we can take that and move it around. And when you actually make your selection and drop it into a different image, it's going to be much softer rather than that hard edge line. So hopefully that helps. So also be thinking of how is it going to be surreal, because the client is absolutely looking for an image that utilizes surrealism a great deal. So hopefully this gives you something to think about. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate in shooting me an email.